Something huge just happened behind the scenes, and most people don't even realize how big this is yet. A secret bidding war. Two media giants fighting for control. And at the last second, the biggest streaming company in the world suddenly walks away. Not because they lost, because they decided the prize wasn't worth the cost. Tonight, we're breaking down the real story behind the battle for Warner Bros. Discovery and why this decision could decide the future of movies, streaming, and theaters for the next decade. If you want real breakdowns without the corporate PR spin, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon so you don't miss any future videos. I'm also on the road to 1,000 subscribers, so your support would mean a lot and really helps the channel grow. Thank you. For months, rumors were spreading quietly through Hollywood that one of the most iconic studios in history might be on the market. At first, people brushed it off as speculation. After all, this isn't some small production company. This is a powerhouse with decades of films, legendary franchises, and a massive content library. But behind closed doors, negotiations were already happening. Executives, investors, and media insiders knew something the public didn't. The company wasn't just restructuring, it was exploring a sale. Eventually, the list of interested buyers narrowed down to two names: Netflix, Paramount, Global, two giants. Two completely different visions for the future of entertainment. Netflix approached the deal like a modern tech company. They didn't want the entire traditional media structure. They wanted the assets that fit their streaming-first strategy blockbuster films, global franchises, and content pipelines that could feed their platform for years. Cable networks, linear TV infrastructure, legacy baggage, that wasn't part of their plan. Paramount, however, saw the situation differently. They wanted everything: the studio, the channels, the infrastructure, the entire ecosystem. Why? Because for them, this wasn't just about content. It was about survival. In a world where streaming is dominating and traditional media companies are struggling to keep up, acquiring a massive library and production capability could be the move that keeps them competitive for decades. Initially, it looked like Netflix had the upper hand. Reports suggested they were leading negotiations. Industry analysts assumed the deal was heading in their direction. Then Paramount escalated. Instead of quietly stepping aside, they went directly to shareholders, the people with the power to decide. They increased their offer, then increased it again, then added incentives, until suddenly the board was forced to reconsider. Within hours, Paramount's proposal was declared the superior offer, reportedly valuing the company at around $31 per share. A massive price tag considering the company's financial struggles, but there was one twist left. Because Netflix still had the right to match it, Netflix was given a short window to respond, 4 business days. They could match the offer or walk away. And this is where the story takes an unexpected turn. Instead of engaging in a bidding frenzy, Netflix executives took a step back and analyzed the numbers. Yes, the studio had enormous value, iconic brands, beloved franchises, decades of intellectual property. But it also had massive debt, declining traditional revenue streams, and a complicated corporate structure. For Netflix, already dominating global streaming, the acquisition wasn't essential. It was optional, so they made a disciplined decision. They declined to match the bid. Just like that, they were out. On the surface, it might look like Netflix lost, but in reality, they avoided taking on billions in liabilities and operational challenges that could have slowed their growth. This wasn't about ego. It was about focus. Netflix built its empire by prioritizing streaming above everything else. Owning a legacy media company with traditional networks and theatrical commitments could have complicated that strategy. Meanwhile, Paramount was willing to take the risk, because for them, the reward could be transformational. If Netflix had won, the industry might have shifted even faster towards streaming-only releases. Theatrical windows could have shrunk dramatically. Cinema chains might have faced an even tougher future. With Paramount potentially taking control, the transition may be slower. They still rely heavily on traditional distribution, which could keep theaters relevant for a longer period. But there's a deeper issue here: consolidation. Every time a major studio gets absorbed, the number of truly independent players shrinks a little more. And history shows that when fewer companies control more of the industry, the ripple effects are enormous. Competition slows down. Risk-taking drops. Original ideas get replaced by safe bets. Instead of bold experimental films, you start seeing endless sequels, reboots, and familiar franchises projects designed not to fail rather than designed to inspire. Some executives argue this creates stability. A stronger, consolidated company can survive economic downturns, invest in technology, and maintain steady production pipelines. But critics warn it slowly drains the creative energy out of Hollywood. Because when fewer voices hold the power, fewer new voices get a chance to be heard. Paramount Global isn't making this move from a position of overwhelming strength. They already carry significant financial pressure. Taking on a company as massive as Warner Bros. Discovery isn't just ambitious, it's a high-stakes gamble. They're essentially betting that the long-term value of legendary franchises, iconic characters, and one of the largest film libraries on Earth will outweigh the immediate financial strain. If they succeed, they could transform themselves into an unstoppable entertainment powerhouse with influence across theaters, television, and streaming. If they miscalculate, however, the burden could slow them down for years, turning what was meant to be a rescue mission into one of the costliest corporate mistakes in media history. This isn't a routine acquisition. It's a bet on the future of entertainment itself. What's happening here goes far beyond one company buying another. It's a signal that the entire industry is entering a new era. Streaming platforms are battling traditional studios for dominance. Technology companies are investing heavily in content creation. Old revenue models that sustained Hollywood for decades are starting to crack. Theaters are fighting to stay relevant. Cable television is losing ground. Streaming services are competing in a global content war that never sleeps. And as these forces collide, the boundary between cinema and digital entertainment is fading fast. Movies premiere online, series get theatrical releases, franchises stretch across games, shows, films, and merchandise simultaneously. Ownership now means control over entire universes of content, not just individual movies. So the real question isn't simply who owns which studio anymore. It's who will control the pipeline of stories that billions of people around the world consume every day. Paramount Global may emerge as the apparent winner of this battle, but the consequences of this deal won't be measured in headlines or quarterly reports. They'll unfold over years, maybe decades. Will this strengthen Hollywood by creating a more unified powerhouse capable of competing globally? Or will it accelerate a transformation that replaces the old studio system with something entirely new? Something driven by algorithms, data, and worldwide streaming dominance. One thing is becoming increasingly clear. The age of mega mergers isn't slowing down. It's accelerating. And this may only be the beginning of a much larger reshaping of the entertainment world, one that determines not just what gets made, but what kinds of stories survive. That's the situation as it stands right now, a deal that could quietly redefine the future of entertainment while most people are focused on the headlines. But what do you think? Is this a smart move that could save Hollywood or the start of an era where fewer companies control everything we watch? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read them all. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want more deep dives into what's really happening behind the scenes in Hollywood, make sure you subscribe, turn on notifications, and share this video with someone who loves movies as much as you do. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.